Humanity joins the galactic stage. The year was 2157, when humanity first learned it was not alone in the universe. It came not with a bang, but with a gentle hum that grew steadily louder over the skies of every major city on Earth. Dr. Ilara Chen stood on the roof of the Beijing Institute of Xenobiology, her eyes fixed on the massive ship that hovered silently above the sprawling cityscape. Its sleek, silver hull seemed to shimmer in the morning sunlight, defying all known laws of physics as it hung there, motionless and magnificent. "It's really happening," she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible over the distant sounds of sirens and the low, persistent hum of the alien vessel. Beside her, Colonel Jack Harper of the United Earth Defense Force gripped the railing tightly, his knuckles white with tension. "We're as ready as we'll ever be, Doctor," he said, his voice gruff but steady. "Let's just hope they're here to talk and not to conquer." As if in answer to his words, a beam of soft, blue light suddenly emanated from the underside of the ship. It widened, forming a cylindrical column that reached down to touch the ground in the center of Tiananmen Square. The crowds that had gathered there despite the authorities' best efforts to keep them away fell silent, all eyes fixed on the miraculous sight before them. From within the light, figures began to emerge. Tall, slender beings with iridescent skin and large, almond-shaped eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of millennia. They moved with a grace that seemed almost ethereal, their long limbs carrying them forward with fluid motions. Dr. Chen felt her breath catch in her throat. After years of theoretical study, of peering into the depths of space and wondering what might be out there, she was finally face to face with the answer. Aliens. Real, living, breathing aliens. "My God," Colonel Harper muttered beside her. "They're beautiful." The aliens, 5 of them in total, stopped at the edge of the light beam. One of them, slightly taller than the rest, stepped forward. It raised a hand in what seemed to be a universal gesture of peace. And then, to the astonishment of everyone watching, it spoke. Not in any language known to Earth, but directly into their minds. "People of Earth," the voice resonated, clear and melodious. "We are the Galactic Confederation, and we come in peace. We have watched your species for many years, and we believe the time has come to welcome you into the greater community of sentient beings that populate this galaxy." The words echoed not just in the minds of those present in Beijing, but across the globe. From the bustling streets of New York to the remote villages of the Amazon, every human on the planet heard the message simultaneously. Dr. Chen found herself moving forward, drawn by an irresistible urge to be closer to these magnificent beings. Colonel Harper reached out to stop her, but she shook off his hand. "We need to meet them," she said, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and determination. "This is what we've been preparing for." Reluctantly, Harper nodded. Together, they made their way down from the roof and out onto the streets, joining the throng of people now moving towards Tiananmen Square. As they approached, Dr. Chen could see that other world leaders and dignitaries were also converging on the spot. The alien delegation waited patiently, their large eyes taking in the scene with what seemed to be curiosity and perhaps a hint of amusement. The tall alien who had spoken stepped forward again as the human representatives gathered before them. This time, its words were audible to all. "We are the Aetheri," it said, its voice carrying a musical quality that seemed to soothe the nerves of everyone present. "I am Zalthorin, High Emissary of the Galactic Confederation. We have come to offer humanity a place among the stars." President Maria Lopes of the United Earth Government stepped forward, her face a mask of calm diplomacy despite the extraordinary circumstances. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to Earth," she said, her voice steady. "We are honored by your offer and eager to learn more about the galaxy and our place in it." Zalthoran inclined its head in acknowledgement. "We have much to share with you," it said. "Your species has shown remarkable resilience and ingenuity in the face of adversity. These are qualities highly valued in the Confederation." As the initial greetings were exchanged, Dr. Chen found herself drawn into a conversation with one of the other Aetheri. The alien introduced itself as Nyxara, a xenobiologist like herself. "Your world is fascinating," Nyxara said, its mental voice filled with genuine enthusiasm. "The diversity of life here is unlike anything we've seen in our travels." Dr. Chen's mind was racing with questions. How many other species are there in the Confederation? How long have you been watching us? What kind of technology allows you to travel between stars? Nyxara's large eyes seemed to twinkle with amusement. "Patience, Dr. Chen. We have much time to exchange knowledge. But first, there are important matters to discuss." As if on cue, Zalthoran raised its voice to address the gathered crowd once more. "People of Earth, we bring you an invitation and a warning. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders, but it is not without dangers. There are forces that would seek to exploit or destroy young civilizations like yours." A hushed murmur ran through the crowd. Colonel Harper tensed beside Dr. Chen, his hand instinctively moving to the weapon at his hip. "We offer you membership in the Galactic Confederation," Zalthoran continued. "With it comes protection, knowledge, and the opportunity to take your place among the stars. But it also comes with responsibilities. Are you prepared to face the challenges that lie ahead?" President Lopes stepped forward once more. "Humanity has never shied away from a challenge," she said, her voice ringing out clear and strong. "We have fought our own demons and overcome great obstacles to reach this point. Whatever dangers the galaxy may hold, we will face them with courage and determination." A ripple of approval went through the Aetheri delegation. Zalthoran's mental voice carried a note of satisfaction as it responded. "We had hoped you would say that. The path ahead will not be easy, but we believe humanity has the potential to become a great force for good in the galaxy." As the day wore on, more details were discussed. The Aetheri explained that Earth would be granted observer status in the Confederation for a probationary period of 5 Earth years. During this time, technology and knowledge would be shared, preparing humanity for full membership. Dr. Chen found herself at the center of these discussions, her expertise in xenobiology making her a valuable liaison between the two species. As she worked alongside Nyxara and the other Aetheri scientists, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the vast new frontier of knowledge that was opening up before her. Colonel Harper, meanwhile, was engaged in intense discussions with the Aetheri military representatives. They spoke of defense systems, of the threats that lurked in the dark spaces between stars, and of the role Earth might play in the greater conflicts that shaped the galaxy. As the sun began to set over Beijing, casting a golden glow over the alien ship that still hovered above the city, Dr. Chen found a moment to step back and take it all in. The world had changed irrevocably in the space of a single day. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, full of both promise and peril. She thought of all the work that lay ahead, the technologies to be learned, the diplomatic ties to be forged, the defenses to be built. It was daunting, but also thrilling. For the first time in her life, Dr. Chen felt that the horizon of human potential had been pushed back to the very edges of the galaxy itself. As if sensing her thoughts, Nyxara approached her. "Your people have a saying, I believe," the Aetheri said. "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Today, humanity has taken that step." Dr. Chen nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "And what a step it is," she replied. "I can't wait to see where it leads us." As night fell over Earth, the news of first contact spread to every corner of the globe. In homes and gathering places, in laboratories and military bases, humans looked up at the stars with new eyes. The universe had suddenly become a much bigger place, filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagining. But as they had always done throughout their history, humans faced this new frontier with a mixture of excitement, determination, and an unshakable belief in their ability to rise to any challenge. The age of Earth was over. The age of humanity among the stars had begun. An alien threat emerges. 5 years had passed since the Aetheri first made contact with Earth. The initial excitement of joining the galactic community had given way to a determined focus as humanity raced to catch up with the advanced civilizations that populated the stars. Dr. Ilara Chen stood in the command center of Harmony Station, Earth's first off-world colony, orbiting serenely above the red surface of Mars. The station was a testament to how far humanity had come in such a short time, combining Earth ingenuity with ethery technology. Incoming transmission from the Galactic Confederation, announced the AI assistant, its voice calm and clear. Ilara nodded, her heart rate picking up slightly. Today was the day Earth would learn whether it had been granted full membership in the Confederation. "Put it through," she said. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the familiar form of Zalforan, the ethery high emissary. But something was off. The usual serene expression on the alien's face was replaced by one of concern. "Greetings, Dr. Chen," Zalforan said, its mental voice tinged with urgency. "I'm afraid I bring troubling news." Ilara felt a chill run down her spine. "What's happened?" she asked. "The Kryvax Empire has begun expanding again," Zalforan replied. "They've already overrun 3 systems on the outer rim of Confederation space." The Kryvax. Ilara had heard whispers about them during her time working with the ethery. A warrior race, driven by a zealous belief in their own superiority, and a desire to subjugate or destroy all other forms of life. "I don't understand," Ilara said, her mind racing. "What does this mean for Earth's membership?" Zalforan's large eyes seemed to shimmer with a mix of emotions. "The Confederation Council is divided. Some believe that bringing Earth into the fold at this time would be too dangerous. Others argue that your species' unique perspectives and abilities could be valuable in the coming conflict." Before Ilara could respond, another voice cut in. "So they're going to leave us hanging out to dry, is that it?" Colonel Jack Harper strode into view, his face set in a grim expression. "Colonel Harper," Zalforan acknowledged, "I assure you that is not the case. But the situation is complex." Harper snorted. "Seems pretty simple to me. You've spent 5 years filling our heads with knowledge about the galaxy, and now that there's actual danger, you're considering cutting us loose." Ilara shot Harper a warning look, but she couldn't deny the anger bubbling up inside her as well. "What Colonel Harper means to say," she interjected, "is that Earth has upheld its end of the agreement. We've made incredible progress, integrated your technologies, prepared our defenses. We deserve a seat at the table." Zalforan was quiet for a moment, its alien features unreadable. "You are right, of course," it finally said, "which is why I've come to you with a proposition." Both Ilara and Harper leaned in closer to the holographic display. "The Kryvax's advance has been swift and brutal," Zalforan continued. "But our intelligence suggests they have a weakness. Their supply lines are stretched thin, and they're relying heavily on a single, heavily fortified base in the Arcturus system." Harper's eyes narrowed. "Let me guess. You want us to do something about it." Zalforan nodded. "A small, elite team might be able to infiltrate the base and disrupt their operations. It would buy the Confederation time to mount a proper defense." "And if we succeed?" Ilara asked. "Then Earth's admission to the Confederation would be assured," Zalforan replied. "Your bravery and skill would silence even the most doubtful voices on the Council." Harper turned to Ilara, a fierce glint in his eyes. "What do you think, Doc? Ready to save the galaxy?" Ilara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. This was far beyond anything she had trained for, but the opportunity to prove humanity's worth to the Confederation was too important to pass up. "We'll do it," she said firmly. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of preparation. A team was hastily assembled, combining the best of Earth's military forces with scientific experts like Ilara. They trained relentlessly, pushing themselves to the limits of human endurance and beyond. The ethery provided them with advanced stealth technology and weapons, but it was clear that the mission's success would ultimately depend on human ingenuity and adaptability. As the day of departure approached, Tensions on Earth reached a fever pitch. News of the Kryvax threat had leaked, sparking panic in some quarters and a fierce determination in others. Volunteer rates for the newly established Earth Defense Force soared, as did enrollment in scientific programs aimed at developing new technologies to protect the planet. The night before the mission, Ilara stood in the observation deck of the ship that would carry them to Arcturus, staring out at the star-studded blackness of space. Earth was a pale blue dot in the distance, beautiful and fragile. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Harper's voice came from behind her. Ilara nodded, not turning around. "I never thought I'd see it like this. So small, so vulnerable." Harper moved to stand beside her. "That's why we're doing this, Doc. To keep it safe. Do you think we can?" Ilara asked, voicing the doubt that had been gnawing at her. "We're so new to all of this. The Kryvax have been waging war across the galaxy for centuries." Harper was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You know what I think. I think that's our advantage. We're new, we're unpredictable. These Kryvax, they'd gotten used to fighting the same enemies, using the same tactics. But us, we're going to show them something they've never seen before." Ilara couldn't help but smile at his confidence. "And what's that?" "Good old human stubbornness," Harper grinned. "We're too damn stubborn to know when we're outmatched." As if to underscore his point, the ship's engines rumbled to life. It was time to go. The journey to Arcturus took several days, even with the advanced propulsion systems provided by the Aetheri. As they traveled, Ilara and the team pored over intelligence reports, memorizing every detail of the Kryvax base they were about to infiltrate. Finally, they arrived. The Arcturus system loomed before them, a swirling mass of cosmic dust and newborn stars. And there, nestled among the celestial bodies, was their target, a massive space station, bristling with weapons and surrounded by a fleet of Kryvax warships. "Well," Harper muttered as they gazed at the formidable defenses, "nobody said this was going to be easy." The plan was audacious, relying on a combination of Aetheri stealth technology and good old-fashioned human misdirection. While the main Confederation fleet engaged the Kryvax in a distant sector, drawing away the bulk of their forces, the Earth team would slip into the heart of the enemy base. As they made their final approach, cloaked and silent, Ilara felt a strange calm settle over her. This was it, the moment that would define not just her future, but the future of her entire species. "Team," Harper's voice came over the comm, steady and determined. "I know we're facing long odds here. But remember, all of human history has led to this moment. Every challenge we've overcome, every obstacle we faced, it was all preparation for this. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of everyone back on Earth. So let's show these Kryvax what humans are made of." A chorus of affirmatives echoed through the channel. Ilara took a deep breath, centering herself. As the airlock hissed open, revealing the alien corridor beyond, she stepped forward into the unknown, ready to fight for humanity's place among the stars. The mission had begun, and with it, a new chapter in human history was about to be written, one that would echo across the galaxy for eons to come. Humans prepare for war. The corridors of the Kryvax base were eerily silent as Ilara, Harper, and their team made their way deeper into the heart of the station. Their footsteps, muffled by advanced sound-dampening technology, barely made a whisper as they moved swiftly through the alien architecture. "I don't like this," muttered Sergeant Maria Alvarez, her eyes darting from shadow to shadow. "It's too quiet." Harper nodded grimly. "Stay alert. We're not out of the woods yet." As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with their first Kryvax. The alien was massive, easily 8 feet tall, with a chitinous exoskeleton and multiple arms, each ending in wickedly sharp claws. For a moment, both sides froze in surprise. Then, with a speed that belied its size, the Kryvax lunged forward. Harper was faster. His plasma rifle came up in a smooth motion, and a burst of energy struck the alien square in the chest. It fell with a screech that echoed through the corridor. So much for stealth, Ilara said, her heart pounding. We need to move. Fast. They raced through the station, their element of surprise now gone. Alarms blared, and the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from all directions. The team fought their way through waves of Kryvax warriors, their human reflexes and unpredictable tactics giving them an edge against the more regimented alien soldiers. Finally, they reached their target, the central control room. As Harper and half the team held off the Kryvax reinforcements, Ilara and the others got to work. Okay, people, Ilara said, her fingers flying over the alien console. Let's show them what human hackers can do. It was a battle of minds now. The Kryvax systems were advanced, but they hadn't counted on the creative problem-solving skills of humans. Ilara and her team worked in perfect sync, breaking through firewalls and rewriting code on the fly. We're in, shouted Dr. Amit Patel, one of Ilara's fellow scientists, uploading the virus now. The virus, a masterpiece of human and etheric collaboration, was designed to do more than just disrupt the Kryvax operations. It would also transmit the station's tactical data back to the Confederation fleet. As the upload bar crawled towards completion, the sounds of battle outside the control room grew more intense. We're running out of time, Harper yelled over the comm. Whatever you're doing in there, do it faster. Ilara gritted her teeth, willing the upload to complete. Just as the bar hit 100%, a massive explosion rocked the station. Time to go, Harper ordered. The team fought their way back to their ship, the station crumbling around them. As they blasted away from the disintegrating Kryvax base, Ilara allowed herself a moment of relief. They had done it. Against all odds, the human team had succeeded in their mission. But their victory was short-lived. As they re-entered normal space, they were met with a sight that chilled them to the bone. The Kryvax fleet, far larger than intelligence had suggested, was engaged in a massive battle with the Confederation forces, and the Confederation was losing. This is bad, Harper said, his voice grim. Really bad. Ilara nodded, her mind racing. We need to get this data back to Earth. They need to know what's coming. The journey back to Earth was tense, their small ship narrowly avoiding Kryvax patrols. When they finally arrived, they found a planet transformed. In the few weeks they had been gone, humanity had mobilized for war on a scale never before seen in its history. The UN Security Council, now expanded to include representatives from every nation, was in constant session. Factories around the world had been repurposed for wartime production, churning out weapons and ships based on ethery designs, but improved with human ingenuity. As Ilara and Harper delivered their report, the gravity of the situation became clear. The Kryvax weren't just launching an invasion. They were on a crusade to exterminate all other sentient life in the galaxy. And Earth, as a new and unproven species, was high on their list of targets. We always knew this day might come, said President Lopes, her face etched with determination. But I never thought it would be so soon. We're not ready for this. With all due respect, Madam President, Harper interjected, I don't think anyone's ever ready for something like this. But we don't have a choice. We have to fight. Ilara stepped forward. The Kryvax may have numbers and experience on their side, but we have something they don't. Diversity. Our greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to think outside the box. We need to use that. President Lopes nodded slowly. You're right, of course. But how do we stand against an enemy that's conquered entire galaxies? Together, Ilara said simply, not just as a planet, but as part of the galactic community. The Confederation needs us as much as we need them. Our unique perspectives, our unpredictability. These could be the key to defeating the Kryvax. As if on cue, a transmission came through from the ethery. Zolthoran's holographic form appeared, looking more haggard than Ilara had ever seen him. People of Earth, the alien said, its mental voice tinged with both sorrow and hope. The Confederation Council has made its decision. In light of your valorous actions and the dire threat we all face, Earth is hereby granted full membership in the Galactic Confederation." A cheer went up from those assembled, but Zalthorin wasn't finished. "But more than that, we need your help. The Kryvax advance has thrown our forces into disarray. We need new tactics, new ideas. We need humanity." President Lopes stepped forward, her chin held high. "And humanity answers the call. We will stand with our galactic brothers and sisters against this threat." The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. Earth's best and brightest were dispatched across the galaxy, integrating with Confederation forces and bringing human creativity to the war effort. Ilara found herself working alongside Etheri scientists, developing new weapons and defenses that combined the best of both species' technologies. Harper was tasked with training mixed-species combat teams, introducing human guerrilla tactics to races that had only known conventional warfare for millennia. But even as humanity rose to the challenge, the Kryvax pressed their advantage. System after system fell to their relentless advance. Refugees from a dozen alien races sought shelter on Earth, bringing with them tales of horror and destruction. As the front lines drew ever closer to Earth, Ilara couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. Once again, she found herself standing in the Beijing Institute of Xenobiology, looking up at the sky. But this time, instead of a single Etheri ship, the sky was filled with the combined fleet of the Galactic Confederation. Beside her, Harper watched the ships with a mix of awe and determination. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" he said, echoing his words from what felt like a lifetime ago. Ilara nodded. "I never thought I'd see anything like this. All these different species, united in defense of Earth." "We've come a long way," Harper agreed. "But the real test is still to come." As if to underscore his words, alarms began to blare across the city. On the horizon, angry red points of light began to appear, the first signs of the Kryvax invasion fleet entering the atmosphere. Ilara took a deep breath, steadying herself. This was it, the moment that would determine not just the fate of humanity, but of all sentient life in the galaxy. "Well," she said, a grim smile playing on her lips, "I guess it's time to show the galaxy what humans are really made of." Harper grinned back, fierce and determined. "Damn right it is. Let's go make some history." As they raced to their battle stations, Ilara felt a surge of pride and determination. Whatever happened next, humanity would face it head-on, with all the courage, creativity, and sheer stubborn will that had defined their species since they first looked up at the stars and dreamed of reaching them. The battle for Earth was about to begin, and with it, the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. Humanity's stand against invasion. The sky over Beijing burned. Kryvax warships, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly malevolence, poured through the atmosphere in endless waves. The combined fleet of the Galactic Confederation rose to meet them, a dizzying array of ships representing dozens of alien races, all united in defense of Earth. From her position in the hastily constructed war room beneath the city, Dr. Ilara Chen watched the battle unfold on holographic displays. The sheer scale of the conflict was beyond anything humanity had ever experienced. "Status report," barked General Zhao, her weathered face illuminated by the flickering screens. "The Kryvax have breached our outer defenses," reported a young lieutenant, his voice steady despite the chaos. "They're making planetfall in multiple locations across the globe." Ilara's hands clenched into fists. This was the moment they had been preparing for, yet the reality of it was still overwhelming. "What about our secret weapon?" General Zhao asked, turning to Ilara. Ilara nodded, her heart racing. "It's ready, but we'll only get one shot at this." The secret weapon was the culmination of months of feverish work, a fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology that they hoped would turn the tide of the battle. But deploying it would require perfect timing and more than a little luck. "Colonel Harper, are your teams in position?" General Zhao asked over the comm. Harper's voice crackled through, punctuated by the sounds of distant explosions. Affirmative, General. We're ready to move on your command. Just then, an Aetheri liaison officer burst into the room. We have a problem, he announced, his mental voice tinged with urgency. The Kryvax Queen ship has been detected entering the system. If it reaches Earth, all will be lost. A hush fell over the war room. The Queen ship was the heart of the Kryvax invasion force, a massive living fortress that coordinated the actions of the entire swarm. If it was destroyed, the Kryvax would be thrown into disarray. General Zhao's eyes narrowed. This changes things. Dr. Chen, can your weapon target the Queen ship? Ilara's mind raced, calculating trajectories and power requirements. Yes, she said finally, but we have to modify the plan. And it would leave Earth vulnerable. The general was quiet for a long moment, the weight of the decision heavy on her shoulders. Finally, she nodded. Do it. Earth will have to fend for itself. The next hours were a blur of frantic activity. As Kryvax forces pushed deeper into Earth's cities, Ilara and her team worked tirelessly to recalibrate their weapon. Harper and his mixed-species combat squads fought desperate holding actions, buying time with blood and determination. Finally, everything was ready. The weapon, a massive particle cannon powered by an artificial singularity, was aimed at the approaching Queen ship. But there was a catch. To generate enough power for the shot, they would have to divert energy from Earth's planetary shields. This is it, people, General Zhao announced to the assembled forces. For the next 5 minutes, Earth will be completely vulnerable. Every ship, every soldier, every civilian with a weapon. Your job is to hold the line. Humanity's fate rests in your hands. As the countdown began, Ilara felt a sudden calm descend over her. Whatever happened next, she knew that humanity had already proven itself. They had faced a threat beyond imagination and stood their ground. They had united with alien races in ways no one had thought possible. They had pushed the boundaries of science and technology, achieving in months what should have taken decades. 30 seconds to firing, announced the weapons officer. Across the globe, humans and aliens alike braced themselves for the Kryvax onslaught. In New York, a squad of human Marines fought side by side with towering Aetheri warriors, holding a bridge against waves of chitinous Kryvax soldiers. In the skies over Tokyo, Earth fighters flown by pilots from a dozen different species engaged in desperate dogfights with Kryvax swarm craft. 10 seconds. In orbit, the remnants of the Confederation fleet moved to create a corridor for the weapon's shot, sacrificing themselves to clear a path. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The world seemed to hold its breath. Fire. A beam of blinding energy lanced out from Earth, cutting through space like a blade of pure light. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a silent flash that outshone the sun, the Kryvax Queen ship exploded. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Across the battlefield, Kryvax forces suddenly faltered, their coordinated attacks dissolving into chaos. But the danger was far from over. Countless Kryvax soldiers still swarmed across Earth's surface, now driven by blind rage rather than tactical precision. All forces, this is General Zhao, came the order over all frequencies. The enemy is in disarray. Push them back. For Earth, for the Confederation, for the future of all sentient life. Attack. What followed was the fiercest fighting Earth had ever seen. Humans, driven by desperation and hope, fought with a ferocity that astonished their alien allies. In cities and fields, in the skies, and even in Earth's orbit, they battled the Kryvax invaders. Ilara found herself in the thick of it, racing through the ruins of Beijing with a makeshift team of scientists and soldiers. They were tracking a group of Kryvax that had broken into a research facility, intent on destroying human scientific achievements out of spite. As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with the Kryvax squad. For a moment, both sides froze, sizing each other up. Then, with a war cry that seemed to channel all of humanity's defiance, Ilara and her team charged. The battle was brutal and swift. Elara, armed with a prototype energy weapon of her own design, fought with a skill she never knew she possessed. Around her, humans and aliens alike demonstrated incredible bravery and teamwork. As the last Kryvax fell, Elara leaned against a broken wall, breathing heavily. She looked around at her team, battered, bloodied, but unbowed. In that moment, she felt a surge of pride so intense it brought tears to her eyes. Suddenly, her calm crackled to life. It was Harper's voice, tight with excitement. "Dr. Chen, do you read me? You're not going to believe this." "What is it?" Elara asked, her heart pounding. "We've done it," Harper said, his voice breaking with emotion. "The Kryvax are retreating. Earth is safe." A cheer went up from Elara's team, echoed by cries of jubilation from across the globe. Humans embraced their alien comrades, united in their relief and triumph. As the sun began to set over a battered but unbroken Earth, Elara made her way to a high point in the city. The sky, which hours before had been filled with the chaos of battle, was now quiet. Here and there, ships from the Confederation fleet glided serenely overhead, a reminder of the new era that was dawning. Harper found her there, his uniform torn and dirty, but his eyes shining with pride. "Hell of a day," he said, coming to stand beside her. Elara nodded, too overwhelmed for words. They stood in silence for a long moment, watching as the stars began to appear in the darkening sky. "You know," Harper said finally, "I always dreamed of humanity reaching the stars. But I never imagined it would be like this." Elara smiled. "No one could have imagined this. But we did it. We faced the greatest threat in galactic history, and we survived." "More than survived," Harper corrected her. "We proved ourselves. To the Confederation, to the galaxy, and to ourselves." As if in response to his words, a bright light suddenly appeared in the sky. A new star, born from the aftermath of the battle. To Elara, it seemed like a promise, a sign of the bright future that lay ahead. "So," she said, turning to Harper with a grin, "ready for our next adventure?" Harper laughed, a sound of pure joy and relief. "Lead the way, Doc. The galaxy's waiting for us." As night fell on Earth, a planet that had faced annihilation and emerged victorious, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had been tested in the crucible of an interstellar war and had not been found wanting. Now, as full members of the Galactic Confederation, they stood ready to take their place among the stars, prepared to face whatever challenges the universe might throw their way. The battle for Earth was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. Humanity's place in the galaxy changes. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Earth, and the galaxy was a changed place. The defeat of the Kryvax had ushered in a new era of cooperation and innovation among the races of the Galactic Confederation. And at the heart of this renaissance was humanity, the young species that had defied all odds and helped turn the tide of the war. Dr. Elara Chen stood on the observation deck of Unity Station, a massive space habitat orbiting Jupiter that served as humanity's primary hub for interstellar diplomacy and trade. Below her, the great red spot swirled in its eternal storm, a reminder of the raw power and beauty of the universe. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a familiar voice said behind her. Elara turned to see Admiral Jack Harper, his uniform now adorned with the insignia of the Confederation fleet. "Jack," she said warmly, embracing her old friend, "I didn't know you were back from the Andromeda mission." Harper grinned. "Just got in. Couldn't miss the big day, could I?" The big day was the 5-year anniversary of the Kryvax defeat and the official inauguration of Earth's first faster-than-light ship, the HS Prometheus. It was a milestone that marked humanity's full integration into the galactic community. As they made their way to the main auditorium, Elara marveled at how far they had come. Unity Station was a melting pot of species from across the Confederation. Humans worked alongside Etheri, Zenk, and dozens of other alien races, their differences celebrated rather than feared. The auditorium was packed with dignitaries from across the galaxy. At the center of the stage stood the Prometheus, its sleek hull gleaming under the lights. It was a testament to human ingenuity, combining technologies from a dozen different species into something entirely new. President Maria Lopez, now in her second term, took the stage to thunderous applause. Friends, allies, honored guests. She began, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd. 5 years ago, we faced extinction. Today, we stand on the brink of a new frontier. As Lopez spoke of humanity's journey from a primitive, isolated species to a key member of the Galactic Confederation, Ilara felt a swell of pride. She thought back to that day in Beijing, when the Aetheri first arrived, how overwhelmed and unprepared they had all felt. But our greatest achievement, Lopez continued, is not this ship, impressive as it is. It's the bonds we've forged, the bridges we've built between species that once thought themselves impossibly different. She gestured to the assembled crowd, where humans sat shoulder to shoulder, or appendage to appendage, with beings from across the galaxy. This is the true power of humanity, our ability to adapt, to understand, to bring people together. As the speech concluded and the Prometheus was officially christened, Ilara felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to see Zalthorin, the Aetheri High Emissary who had first contacted Earth all those years ago. "Dr. Chen," Zalthorin said, its mental voice warm with affection. "I hope I'm not interrupting." "Not at all," Ilara replied, smiling at her old friend. "It's good to see you, Zalthorin." The Aetheri's large eyes crinkled in what Ilara had learned was their version of a smile. "I wanted to personally congratulate you. The Prometheus is a remarkable achievement." Ilara nodded, her pride tinged with humility. "We couldn't have done it without the knowledge shared by the Confederation." "Perhaps," Zalthorin said, "but it was humanity that took that knowledge and transformed it into something new. Something extraordinary." As they spoke, Ilara noticed a commotion near one of the side entrances. A group of beings was entering, unlike any she had seen before. They moved with a fluid grace, their bodies seeming to shift and change with each step. Zalthorin followed her gaze, and Ilara felt a wave of excitement emanate from the Aetheri. "Ah," it said, "I was hoping they would come." "Who are they?" Ilara asked, fascinated. "They are the Morphs," Zalthorin explained, "a reclusive species from the galactic core. They haven't engaged in Confederation politics for millennia." Harper, who had been listening nearby, stepped closer. "So what are they doing here?" Zalthorin's mental voice took on a tone of awe. "They're here because of you. Because of humanity." As Ilara and Harper exchanged puzzled glances, Zalthorin continued. "The Morphs are ancient, wise beyond our understanding. They observe the ebb and flow of galactic civilizations, only intervening when they sense a significant shift in the cosmic order. And humanity represents such a shift." Ilara asked, her scientific curiosity piqued. Zalthorin nodded. "Your defeat of the Kryvax was impressive, yes. But it's more than that. It's your adaptability, your creativity, your ability to bridge gaps between disparate cultures. The Morphs believe that humanity has the potential to usher in a new age of unity and innovation for the entire galaxy." As if on cue, one of the Morphs approached their group. Up close, Ilara could see that its body was composed of countless tiny iridescent particles that flowed and shifted constantly. It was both beautiful and slightly unsettling. The Morph spoke, its voice a harmonious blend of tones that seemed to resonate directly in Ilara's mind. "We have watched and waited for eons," it said. "Now, at last, we see the dawn of a new era. Humanity, you stand at a crossroads. The path you choose will shape the destiny of all sentient life." Ilara felt the weight of the Morph's words, the immense responsibility they represented. She glanced at Harper, seeing her own mix of awe and determination reflected in his eyes. "We're ready," Harper said firmly. "Whatever challenges lie ahead, humanity will face them, and we'll face them alongside our allies in the Confederation." The morph's form shimmered, and Ilara had the distinct impression it was pleased. "Then let us begin," it said. "There is much to discuss, much to plan. The future awaits." As the morph led them towards a private meeting room, Ilara felt a sense of excitement and purpose unlike anything she'd experienced before. They stood on the brink of something monumental, something that would redefine humanity's place in the cosmos. The observation deck, now empty save for a few stragglers, offered a panoramic view of Jupiter and the stars beyond. Ilara paused for a moment, taking in the sight. She thought about how far they'd come. From a single pale blue dot to a species poised to help shape the future of the galaxy. "Ready, Doc?" Harper asked, a glint of adventure in his eyes. Ilara nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "Ready as we'll ever be. Let's go make some history." As they walked away, following the morph towards whatever incredible future awaited them, Ilara felt a profound sense of gratitude and hope. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. Now, as they took their first steps into a vast and wondrous galaxy, she knew that the greatest adventures and the greatest discoveries still lay ahead. The stars beckoned, and humanity, in all its beautiful, chaotic, innovative glory, was ready to answer the call.